What is going on, man? I have some other changes I need to make to the channel as far as like changing over names and stuff like that. So I'm gonna continue to do that actually right now, and we can kind of just bullshit about whatever. Um, let me open this. I'm gonna make some changes here. Yeah. There we go. That works. That freaking works. If I could get this. Thank you. Holy shit. There we go. Took long enough. Change that out. I'll probably do like a actual thumbnail change, but I just wanted to change that for now. There we go. There we go. Better. I feel better about that. Okay. There's that. The other thing I want to do. I'm going to close that. Why did this not open? All right. So, real quick, let me minimize this. Okay. So, Alabama. Crazy ass freaking win there. Ohio State is still 2. Miami still 3? Still 3. Utah. I don't know if Utah's 4 anymore because they lost. Ooh. So we got some changes here. So Missouri, nope. Ole Miss, LSU, Notre Dame. No, Notre Dame's not, because they are not going to be a conference champ. So it's not Notre Dame. And we've already got ACC on there. Right, I'm not skipping. It's going to be Big 12. So Iowa State. Iowa State. Jesus. Okay. Jeez. Iowa State. Okay, 6. As of now, this is Texas. Sorry, no, I'm sorry. My bad. Texas is at 5. 6 is Tennessee. Tennessee, so they moved up 1. 7 is Georgia. 8 is Oregon. They moved up 1. They would be hosting college football playoff game at home. So there's Oregon. And then, so that's Oregon. And then you got, 9 is going to be Penn State. Penn State. I'm just going to do state like that. So Penn State, and then, yeah, Miami's already there. So who's after Penn State? Missouri. They moved up 1, Missouri. Who's after Missouri? Michigan. And then number 12 would be Boise State. Boise State. Ooh. All right. So, let me bring this forward. All right, there we go. Shaboop. Tell you what, I'll leave that. I'll leave it right there. All right, do the rundown here. So yeah, we had a crazy weekend in that college football. Obviously, I mean, it started like, what was that, Friday night with that Miami game? But the big one, Alabama, Georgia. We can just go and talk about Alabama and Georgia right here. Alabama was very impressive, especially in that first half. Like their offense was just more open than anything Georgia had all game. Like even Georgia in the second half, and they made that comeback. They took the lead. Everything was contested, but Alabama, everything that they were doing was not nearly as contested. They kind of fell asleep a little bit there in the second half, allowing Georgia to come back. I mean, they jumped out to a 28-0 lead, and then Georgia then goes on a 35-5 run to take the lead, 35-33. And then Alabama says, hold my beer, one shot down the sideline, touchdown. Crazy. They have a 17-year-old freshman who was making a name for himself in that game. That dude, who was looking pretty good. Between him and the kid at Ohio State, man, I think we got some really good up-and-coming wide receivers, and Texas has some good ones coming up as well. But I was just really impressed with Alabama. To me, when I watched that game, it seemed like Alabama just had control of it, even though the Georgia came back in the second half. It wasn't as much as Georgia dominated as Alabama was just not getting out there and executing on some things. So Alabama looked very impressed. Obviously, they jumped over Texas, taking over the number one spot. It's a more impressive win, even though it was at home. Texas won in Michigan. Alabama won at home against Georgia. Yeah, potato. I mean, it doesn't matter. They look pretty good. Texas and Alabama will not play each other this year unless they meet in the SEC championship game. So, there you go. And by the way, and just so you know, the number 2 spot for the SEC, whoever becomes the number 2, or maybe even just the loser of the SEC championship game, depending on maybe who it is, that might be the most coveted spot in college football. Possibly. It's possible. Or maybe even the 3rd, the one that's left just out of the conference championship game. Quite possible. Okay. And I can show you why when we get to doing redoing the brackets. Texas played Mississippi State. There you go. And that's all you need to know. They controlled every aspect of that game. It was kind of a slow start. The only reason why Mississippi State even stayed kind of in it up until halftime was because Texas running back kept fumbling the ball a couple times in that game. But other than that, Arch Manning also took a little bit of time to get his find his way a little bit. He's still starting, figuring out that flow. But he looked pretty good. Made some good throws. He didn't make mistakes that cost turnovers. Obviously, that's a win. That's exactly what you want. You don't want to be turning the ball over, especially when you have a solid defense. You just don't want to put the other team in spots where they can get easy points. They didn't. Texas looked pretty good. Rolling. Moving on. They have a bye week, and then they'll get Oklahoma. Ohio State. So Ohio State didn't really play anybody. They played Michigan State. I mean, easy dub, 38-7. When they actually play someone, then we'll actually talk about Ohio State. I think the more concerning thing, and I get it, it's like, oh man, we're not having to use any energy right now if you're Ohio State. But the other thing is by the time you kind of get into that match of somebody punching you in the face, and that being the first time you've having to have felt that, what's going to be your bounce back? And that's going to be maybe a time period where you don't want to find out how your team responds to getting punched in the face. Right now, they're coasting. They haven't played anybody. Looking pretty good. There you go. Tennessee still doing pretty good. Moved up because Georgia lost to Alabama. I was kind of surprised Georgia moved down that much. But there you go. Tennessee looking good. Nothing really else to say there. Did they even play? Oh, Tennessee didn't even play. They were off this week. So there you go. Georgia. So talked a little bit about Alabama, Georgia, and I'm going to kind of just talk about Georgia with Alabama. But obviously, I mean, I haven't been big on Carson Beck. Okay, not to say that he didn't lead the comeback in the second half. He kept them composed. He kept them in the game. They took a lead after being down 28-0, all of which is impressive. But you're in a hole because you're throwing interceptions. You lose the game because you throw an interception. Georgia is probably where I thought they would be. Like, that's about how I think Georgia is. About 5. My opinion. Now, obviously that kind of depends on, how some of these other teams are, but Tennessee's looking really good. Georgia's got to stop making mistakes. They got to stop starting slow. It's like they wake up from that hangover from Friday night and they just can't get over it until about halftime, and then they kind of pour it on. But it's like they need to figure it out. That's all I'll say there. But stop turning the ball over. Anyways, Oregon. Yeah, Oregon. Did they even play? Yes, they did. Oregon, you played UCLA. Not really much kind of going on there. Yeah, there you go. Penn State played a somewhat interesting game with Illinois. Yeah, they won 21-7. And that game was close throughout the whole game. It wasn't until late when Penn State kind of got that 14-point lead and was able to kind of seal it. But they were kind of in that dogfight there pretty much that entire game. Penn State, they'll probably be in contention for the playoff. And that's about it. I wouldn't imagine Penn State's making a deep playoff run. So, there you go. Miami, my gosh. Probably the best game of the weekend was Friday night with Miami. Miami and Virginia Tech. Nobody thought Virginia Tech was going to be in that game. But the end of that game, okay, I'll say this. Miami, you should have lost. I listened to the commentators while you're watching that game. They were kind of siding with, whatever the call on the field is should probably just be the ruling. I don't see how you overturn this. And I completely agreed with that. Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, there was nothing conclusive to say that he did or did not have control as he comes down, lays on the ground, and it is then stripped out while they're laying on the ground. To me, this seems like Big Daddy ACC called and said, hey, Miami can't lose. Whoever's in that replay booth, Miami can't lose. Not if you want to have a job tomorrow. So I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about Miami getting that win. Yeah, they get the win, I guess, but they shouldn't have. That shouldn't. I mean, the call on the field should have been what should have resulted in that play, which would have been a Miami loss. But anyways, Miami got the win. Moving on, undefeated. Still probably, maybe the best team in the ACC. I think it's still probably going to come down between them and maybe Clemson. Maybe Clemson's figuring it out. And also Louisville. Missouri. Did they play? Missouri did not play. So Missouri did not play, and they were off. Michigan, they played Minnesota. They did barely win, which is kind of interesting while they're even at number 10. But I guess you can't have USC over Michigan because, USC just lost to Michigan. Anyways, Michigan kind of getting more of the benefit of the Ole Miss loss. But, yeah, there you go. Anyways, they won against Minnesota. Very close game. There you go. They're going to have a lot of close games because they just don't have a passing game. USC played Wisconsin, and they turned it on after being down early. I think they were down 21-6. Yeah, that was at one point in time when I saw it, and they went on and just rolled after that. So USC finally looked like the team I think many people thought they were going to be. Too bad it didn't show up last week when they played Michigan. Ole Miss with the big goose egg on the weekend. Wow. So this game was Ole Miss was the home team against Kentucky, which Kentucky might be a pretty good team. I get they've lost to a couple of teams. But Kentucky, after they had this real stinker against South Carolina, has looked very impressive. Obviously, they almost knocked off Georgia, and they did just get Ole Miss. So, I mean, Kentucky might be really good. They just might just throwing a real stinker out there. Maybe they're just trying to figure things out. It's their beginning parts of the year against that South Carolina loss. But anyways, Ole Miss, only putting up, what was it, 10 points? Supposed to be a good offense, right? I question how good of a team, emphasis on team, Ole Miss really is, because a lot of people talk about individual skill talent, but that is not what wins a team game. That might win one play, that might win the crunch play, but when you got to play a whole game, the team wins or the team loses. LSU, who did they play? Oh, that's right, South Alabama. LSU basically had a bye week. They played South Alabama. All right, moving on. Notre Dame, they had a good game with Louisville. The only thing here was this was on Peacock. I wasn't able to watch that game, and I was really kind of frustrated because I wanted to watch Louisville. But they had the Notre Dame Louisville game on Peacock, so I couldn't watch it. I'm not paying for Peacock just for Notre Dame game. But Notre Dame started off a little bit slow, from my understanding. Just kind of as I was following on a Gamecast, and then it just kind of seemed like they just kind of controlled the game pretty much. After that, I really was hoping to watch that Notre Dame Louisville game. Clemson seems to have figured out their game after that 34-3 drubbing to Georgia, but they handled Stanford this weekend. So Clemson, moving on. Iowa State, man, that team, Iowa State's always a good team. They're always a good team. They have a really good coach. I'm really surprised he has not gotten an opportunity to go somewhere else. They don't get the best talent, and there's only so much the team can accomplish, because once you come up with a good team with better talent, you're not going to win. But, I mean, they handled Houston. Handled them. So 20-0. I mean, pitching a shutout. Yeah, Iowa State's always good. They are one of those teams that will not beat themselves. You're going to beat them. So if you don't come in and beat them, they'll probably win. But they are now the front leading runner here in the Big 12. Be curious to see how they handle some of these games, especially at the end of the year. They're going to get a pretty good back-to-back doubleheader there with Utah and Kansas State. Cam Rising will probably be playing in Utah unless he gets hurt somewhere between now and then. He'll probably be back. And then Kansas State, I like Kansas State. More on them in a little bit. As far as Iowa State, though, I like them. Man. BYU also looking like they're in pretty good contention there for the Big 12. Looking pretty solid. I don't really know much about that team. Be curious to see a game from them. Let me take a look here. Yeah, I mean, I know they just drubbed Kansas State last weekend. Be curious. How about try to see that Utah game coming up here in about a month, a little bit over a month. So we got Utah which threw a freaking stinker to Arizona. This was late Saturday night. You might not have seen this. They could... Arizona, their defensive coordinator's name is Dwayne Aquina, who is a former UT back in like the 2000s. He used to be a UT secondaries coach, and he's very good with the secondary. And if you watch that game, Arizona, their secondary was all over the Utah Utes wide receivers. They could not complete a pass because they were just getting knocked down. They were flying all over. Utah's offense looked very inept. Very inept. They couldn't do much. They weren't able to do much, obviously, by the 10-point score. So, Cam Rising did not play. Maybe that's a factor. So, we'll see once Cam Rising comes back. That dude just needs to stay healthy. My gosh, that dude has like a 99 on the injury bug. Oklahoma, they won. Yeah, I mean, they went to Auburn. And I say, meh, they won. But really, that was a very interesting game. That was an entertaining game at the end. Auburn had that game kind of locked up. They had the ball about 6 minutes, 6 minutes left to go. And Auburn throws the pick. Auburn throws a pick 6. And Oklahoma's defense then at that point in time just had to lock him out. And Oklahoma's defense is good enough, they're going to lock you out. So, I mean, it just goes to show Oklahoma's defense saving the team yet again. And that was a pretty good ending to that game because, man, that finish with that pick 6 is how they sealed it. Other than that, defense is really good. I think they still had O-line issues from. I didn't see any of that game, but from a lot of the highlights I was seeing, I think I was peeking in on it on like a quad screen look, and dude, their offensive line, Oklahoma's offensive line is just not good. They just don't look good. I believe the second quarterback, I forget his name, came. I think he played the whole game. QB2, who might be QB1 now. I don't know. Kansas State. All right. So Kansas State got the victory over Oklahoma State, bouncing back after getting drubbed last week to BYU. And yeah, there you go. I mean, bounce back. They looked very impressive. Just kind of a week late to look impressive because BYU got your name. Anyways, yeah, Kansas State looked pretty good. Avery Johnson looked good. I'm high on that guy. He looks much better than their quarterback last year, who now plays at Ohio State, Will Howard. I would rather have Avery Johnson. That's just my opinion. I believe Avery Johnson is that freshman. I think he's a freshman. Boise State is finally moving up in the world. I haven't seen them play, but I'd imagine they probably haven't played anybody. I'd be curious to see who they lost to. Oh, yeah, that's right. They almost knocked off Oregon. I do remember that. Didn't see that game, but yeah. But they haven't played anybody. Georgia Southern, Portland State, Washington State. Like, Washington State's their most impressive win, and Washington State's not impressive. So, they'll be playing UNLV, which UNLV has possibly a quarterback issue. Maybe not. Obviously, their UNLV's quarterback stepped away last week and is not coming back due to NIL obligations not being met. But the guy, the quarterback that played this week, did just fine. So you might not even need him. Louisville, yep, you played Notre Dame. I wish I could have watched that game. Bummer, could not. Indiana's undefeated. Who have you played? Absolutely nobody but UCLA and Maryland. Okay. Well, I'm not going to... you're probably not going to get through these two. And Nebraska will probably also beat you. Nebraska's pretty good. Do not sleep on Nebraska. Nebraska's pretty good. So they'll be playing Nebraska in about 3 weeks. So Indiana, I'll probably try to watch that Nebraska game. Anyways, Illinois goes down to Penn State. They looked pretty good for for playing a team in the top 10. They were competitive the entire game. Just kind of slipped up there at the end. And yeah, lost by 14, 21-7. Texas A&M, I'm not high on, but they're ranked number 25. Like, who else are you going to put down there? Maybe they're figuring out their quarterback situation. Yeah, UNLV, obviously we know what's going on with their quarterback situation. Starter left last week. Arizona, obviously getting some votes. Nebraska, I'm also thinking is going to be pretty good. So, yeah, there's some other teams sitting right outside that top 25 that are probably going to be able to compete pretty much on any given weekend. So, as far as how the bracket is now seeding, let's just run through this real quick. So, we do have some pretty good changes actually coming through this week. So we got Alabama. Alabama is now numero uno after an impressive win against Georgia. A lot of people were high on Georgia. I wasn't one of them. I'm not that big on Carson Beck. Not to say they don't have talent elsewhere, but Alabama looking pretty good. I was very impressed with Alabama, man. They were rock steady in that game. Number 2, Ohio State, no change there. Number 3, no change here, Miami. Number 4, big time change. Why? Well, Utah lost. So Iowa State, who is now at 16, is now at number 4. There you go. Iowa State now goes from 16 to number 4 in the college football playoff. What a jump that is. I love this college football playoff, man. It was great. Remember, Notre Dame, even though Notre Dame is higher than them, remember, Notre Dame does not qualify to meet any of the top 4 spots because they will not be a winner of a conference championship game. These are only for conference championship game winners. Okay. So I just want you to make sure you understand that. 5, Texas drops to 5. Here is where I will say it might be better to be that one team that's left out of the SEC championship game. If you got one loss and you're the one sitting out, or maybe if you're Georgia and you got 2 losses, maybe you're sitting out of that SEC championship game, you got a really high ranking, but you're just out of it. This might be where it's really, really beneficial to you because you won't have to play the SEC championship game. You'll get the weekend off. You'll play a 12 seed, then you'll play the 4 seed, and then probably play the number 1 seed, which you might have to do then the week later anyway, or the next game anyways at the championship game. But that might be a much easier path rather than playing in the SEC championship game, which you'd probably be playing, a number 1 seed, number 1 quality seed, I guess, number 1, number 2 team in the country. And then at that point in time, I mean, you'll get the bye, but it's like if you don't play in the SEC championship game, it's kind of like you get a bye anyways. So it's going to be really interesting to see if a team maybe tries to kind of fit in there. Now, the one thing you don't want to do is if you make that SEC championship game, yeah, you are trying to win that game. Obviously, you're going to try and win any game, but you don't want to lose that game because then you got to turn around and then play in the first round. So you play in the SEC championship game, and then you play in the first round, which probably at this point in time would not be Texas or Alabama, okay? If the way this goes down and we have Texas, if Texas loses to Georgia, right? If Texas loses to Georgia, Texas is not going to be the 5 seed, most likely. Or they might be. It's going to be really interesting to see how they rank them. Texas might be the 5 seed, or Texas might actually be the 6 seed. And that's assuming Texas beats Oklahoma in 2 weeks. But those might be the 3 best teams in the nation. It's going to be really hard to judge that because Ohio State they don't really have any competition. Penn State, Michigan are not good teams. They're not for well-rounded teams. Not like Alabama, Texas, and Georgia. And you could probably throw Tennessee in there. Tennessee probably is also going to be in that conversation for the SEC championship game. So, yeah, the team that's going to get really screwed here is the team that loses the SEC championship game. And whoever gets that 5 seed, that might be the loser of the SEC championship game. Just kind of throwing them a bone of saying, hey, you know what, you lost. We're going to let you have the easier game here. But 6 seed, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, the 6 seed might be really prime spot because that might be the team that sits out of the SEC championship game, not the loser, right? Let me just go forward here. So Tennessee. So if Tennessee sits out of that SEC championship game, right? If Texas beats Georgia, Tennessee's sitting here on the outside. Alabama beats Texas in the SEC championship game. And then Tennessee's just sitting here on the outside. They didn't have to play the SEC championship game. They get to play the 11 seed. And then they played Miami, 3 seed. And then you don't even have to mess around with playing in this top bracket who might be Texas, Alabama meeting in that game, that playoff semifinal round again. You probably have to go through Miami, Ohio State. So, man, this 6th seed might be the spot to be really in a lot of these playoff brackets maybe going forward. Man, obviously that's in the case of a very heavy dominant SEC playoff bracket, but it probably won't be like that every year. Woof. It might be a really coveted spot. That's all I'm saying. Georgia is at 7. There you go. Oregon went from 9 to 8 because, who lost? Ole Miss. Ole Miss lost. So there you go. And Penn State moved up 1. Missouri also, they did actually drop. I believe Missouri dropped from their tight game. Anyways, we got Michigan. Can't believe I'm saying that one. Michigan making it into the 12-team playoff. That is, dang, no way. I would have thought that. I would have thought that after the way Texas handled them. But it's like, yeah, I mean, you play a bunch of other teams that aren't on your level. And they are finally doing what I kind of thought they should have been doing after the Texas game. Just hand the ball off. Hand the ball off, do a lot of running, sprinkle in some passing, get your quarterback used to throwing in game situations because, man, he was just so uncomfortable with that. Looking pretty good there. And then Boise State, yes, is that group of 5 down here are ranked 21. So that is how our current playoff bracket is set up. And that SEC is going to be a crazy, crazy race. I don't know which way you want to be. If you want to be that team that sits out of, if you're wanting to be that team that sits out of the I don't know if you want to be that team that sits out of the SEC championship game, or if you are saying, yeah, you know what, let's go get that number 1 slot. But I mean, most likely in that semifinal round, you probably would be playing the team that you had just played to like 2 games before. So, yeah, this is gonna be a crazy one in the SEC. It will be very, very fun to watch from a fan standpoint. And Ohio State just keeps on cruising, man. It's kind of nice when you don't really have to play anybody, and it just, it's just your schedule. Anyways, that is how week 5. Oops, wrong button. There you go. That is how, that is the bracket. There you go. So cool. Oh, you know what? Bring forward. There we go. All right. All right. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Texas didn't drop in the coaches poll, but they did drop in the AP. It's one reason why I'm doing it off the AP, because the coaches poll is like the coaches don't even pay attention to it. So, all right, what do we got, man? FSU QB. FSU and Clemson, dude. FSU has fallen off so hard. They got absolutely beat down by SMU. Clemson, though, they'll probably lose to Clemson even if DJU was playing. And there you go. What else? Man, what else do we have going on? What is that? Oh. What? Do you see? What's the? Give me a second. Brought a demon inside me. All right. What is this? Godot. Godot. What is this? Released a statement. On Friday, we made a tweet that unexpectedly led to a wave of harassment directed at our staff and community. We unequivocally condemn this abuse. The volume of negative engagement overwhelmed our moderation efforts. While attempting to protect the Godot community, we mistakenly blocked individuals who were not participating in this. Okay, we mistakenly blocked individuals who were not participating in the harassment. The Godot Foundation Board takes full responsibility for these moderation actions. If you believe you were blocked in error and have not violated our code of conduct, please contact us with the form linked below. We are committed to swiftly rectifying any mistakes. We firmly stand by our mission to keep our community spaces free from hate, discrimination, and other toxic behaviors. What? Hold on. What was this? FY, this is who's running Godot social media. I survived the emo party yesterday. I still have my voice too. So don't forget to tune in for an extra sleepy cozy stream later. Good God, no. That's disgusting. I cannot imagine why Godot barely works as an engine. No, you forwarded your opinion. The tweet was silly. I'm not answering those loaded questions. No, you forwarded your opinion, so now you have to, or it's a ban. Do you think it's silly to ask people to share? Do you think it's silly for people? All right, hold on. Do you think it's silly for people to ask? Do you think it's silly to ask people to share their LGBTQ game? Goddamn alphabet people. Yes or no? If yes, you'll have to say why. If you say because it's political, you're banned. If you don't answer, you're banned. I like you, and I'm sorry, but this is not something I can let pass. How about because it's mental fucking illness? How about that? Because I'm straight and I don't have to hear your non-straight bullshit. How about that? So I am so glad I don't pay attention to all this crap. Can you imagine if people had actual power? This good Janny from Discard is moaning about the final solution for the chuds, which he reviews as humanity's filth. Holy shit. The drama isn't created by Godot, it's just who just made a nice tweet to surface cool indie games. The drama is created by reactionary, insecure cowards who have nothing better to do with their day than to do shit on something they are unconcerned with. They even feel persecuted because other people exist and are visible. These people's cowardice and small-mindedness is a danger to everyone. They're the filth of humanity, and banning them is a kindness to everyone, including themselves. That way, They can continue to pretend the world is made only of cowards like them and not be subjugated to people that are different. For me, the only problem of this tweet is that it doesn't happen every day, so more of those imbeciles can be banned. They should be doing these tweets every 30 minutes, and anyone who has a problem with them can fuck off to oblivion, and then fuck off some more, and anyone having any slight issue with it can fuck off too. To not have made drama, it's very easy. There will be no more drama the day those drama queens stop getting their panties in a knot around anything that doesn't concern them. See something that doesn't concern you in any way, just do your best to be a normal human being about it, and there will be no drama. Yeah, but y'all aren't fucking normal. Y'all are fucking weird. I'm excuse me, but chopping off your private parts is not normal. Y'all think y'all are normal. Y'all are far from it. Serial killer thinks he's normal. You have no right of speech here because I consider your speech to be toxic vomit. If you think inviting queer people to share their games is politics, you're a toxic piece of fucking evil human, and I want you to feel disrespected and to fuck off as fast as you can. Oh my gosh. Dude, first off, I mean, you could have just led with that and just ended it. Jesus. I actually agree with this person. If you make queer games, cool, go do it. Stop turning straight people games gay and queer. Like, I don't know, Call of Duty, Saints Row, all that shit. Y'all, and we've been, and people have said, why don't y'all just go make y'all's own shit? Let them make their own shit. Do not complain when they make their own shit. Do not complain. It'll die just like Discord died. Because that market, like, when they have those group gatherings, I bet you there's like 20 people. Like, Comic-Con, Gamescom, look at how many people go to those games. Look at how many people go to those things. If they had queer only or alphabet people only Gamescom, they would probably get quite a bit of people, but they would be everybody from all over the world. That is such a small market. And you couldn't develop multiple games. You wouldn't be able to have multiple games. They couldn't even support Discord. Just stop changing games that we built up. That the single male gamer built up. The Godot's manager's messages got leaked. Oh man, a whole bunch of Nigerians references here. A lot of Nigerians. Oh, wow. That's funny. It's funny how everybody should be their own people, but you're literally just calling a bunch of racist slurs. Yeah. Anybody that has their hair colored, absolutely would not hire them. At all. And companies are actually figuring that out. Like, dude, don't hire those people. They are the worst people to hire. When you care more about your personal identification, right? And that's what the LGBT, the alphabet people believe in. They care more about their personal identification than any freaking thing else. Which means, yeah, that business that you're trying to run, they want to know why their personal identification is not reflected in your business. Like, they don't care about your business. That is the only thing that matters to them. Look at anything that they've done, and it's they've destroyed like more things than not. Oh damn! I think that this whole blocking situation just lost. Get out $5K a month in funding. Support the future of Godot. What the heck is Godot? Godot engine. Holy shit. Damn. Yeah, they lost like 11 members. And 1 sponsor. Crazy. Oh yeah. We want to block the people that are talking bad, not the people that are giving us money. What if it's the people that are talking bad and giving you money? No, that's okay. As long as you continue to give us money, because nobody gives us money. Because the things that we actually talk about and believe in are so fucked up. So I'm curious, what was the original one? All right. How does it feel to have live? Holy shit! Lived long enough to see all your favorite franchises go into flames. Feels great. I don't even know what works on Godot. What the fuck? Now devs getting blocked on GitHub? This is getting completely out of hand. Dude, blocking devs. I'm sure those are the people that are just working. They're the ones that are actually doing something. The manager for Godot accounts should be fired, removed immediately, as well as any similar people mass blocking Godot users on GitHub or Discord. Ridiculous. You don't bring a PR storm like this upon your organization. You don't attach your users. You don't get personal. What the fuck is wrong with people running GitHub? They had a huge opportunity after the Unity debacle to improve and disrupt the industry, but they responded by knocking back valid feedback, criticism, doubling down on weird stances, and literally blocking everyone. Huge skill issue, in my opinion. Yeah. So I'd be curious to see what was the actual thing. Yeah, if people are giving you feedback, and this is the same thing that happened with Discord. So I don't know what kind of feedback was going on here. I'll see if I can try to find it. But this is the same thing that happened with Discord, right? People tried to give feedback, and they said this game's maybe not for you. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. They didn't support it. They shut the game down in 10 days after release. This will be the same freaking situation. People don't care about your alphabet peopleness. Like, people don't care. Most people don't care. Y'all are the ones that care. Many have left back to Unity and Unreal and even Playmaker. Jesus. Set your whole company on fire, add jet fuel. It's a downing my meds with energy drink kind of day. Oh, here we go. Uh, I'm assuming this is in response to the Nigerian language that was used. Company doing some fire extinguishing. All right, hold on. What is this? Oh, shit. Twitter says an account may be verified if it is determined to be an account of public interest. The reality, though, is you need to have a friend at Twitter or do favors for Twitter and not saying things that displease them. This is why Twitter sucks. Oh, well, this is back in like 2018. Displease them, like supporting traditional family values instead of LGBT movement. What are your thoughts on that subject? Both groups have the right to live their lives, of course, and to speak about the merits and moralities of the topic, and neither has a right to not be offended by the other's contrary opinions. I can agree with that. Wow, an actual civil conversation. I'm down for a meme. I will block you if you critique the way I spam gay propaganda or say anything bad about my product. I don't care about politics, but I will post about them all the time. By the way, fuck you if you don't like me joking about making Godot way. Make good products, say nothing. Industry standards, fear you. Funny. Clown of the day. Damn, what a day to be alive. I know it's kind of cut off for you guys, but damn, what a day to be alive. Viva freedom. Another comment like this and you'll be banned. This isn't a country. You realize it's a private community, and just like you can be thrown out of a restaurant for not respecting the dress code, you can be thrown out of here for any reason. If you have a problem with that, react with an emoji and you'll see how fast you can get banned. Dude, this is funny. Oh my gosh. Companies are going to learn, man. Companies and businesses are going to start to learn. They're learning, but stop hiring mentally retarded fucking people. This guy got banned. The main Godot account has just banned me for quoting the Godot creator. I posted it to test how bad the situation is. I didn't think they'd actually do it. That's fun. This is great, man. Well, apparently game engines are woke now. Well then, we won't complain. Show us your WooCot games below. Wait a second. They support WooCot. Woke games? But my game, which has Donald Trump beating up furries, got me banned from Godot's official servers. In Discord and the communities, what the fuck? Oh, I'm not reading that. Oh, another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one down. And another one down. Another one bites the dust.